Hello, my name is Sarah Riding and I am the Research and Trends Director at the Insights family. And I'm thrilled today to be talking to you as part of the CMC Conference 2021 and absolutely delighted to be joined by Stefan Lampinen, Managing Director and founder of Games Advisor. And today we're going to be discussing how TV can stand out in an immersive world, how it can compete for attention against a growing video games industry. I'm going to pass over to Stefan shortly, but I just want to first give you some context and look in detail at some of the data and information we are seeing around kids and their role within the video gaming world today. So for those of you who don't know, the Insights family is the global leader in kids, parents and family market intelligence. Our purpose is to provide children, families and parents with a voice to shape their world. And how do we do that? Well, we survey more than 500,000 kids, parents and family across the globe each year, across 17 countries. Our USP is the fact that we do this continuously. We are surveying different kids every day, every week, and it's just a live stream of data. And it's really important that in the world of kids, we do this in a world where trends move so fast. It means that we can quickly identify new and emerging trends and follow their influence within the kids and family space as they grow. So firstly, just want to start by asking, does TV still play a role in a child's life? And in a short answer, very much so, yes. As you know, TV has long been brought families together. It's an activity that can be shared and consumed together, and this has become even more important in the last year. It creates talking points and connections, and we can see this in the information we track on a daily basis. In fact, across most of the regions we measure, the biggest factor driving viewing to a new TV show for kids today is that it's being talked about with friends. TV is and remains a strong social currency amongst younger demographics. And it's also a place to educate and learn, to be taken to unknown places. And TV offers a world where children can completely switch off and relax. When there's so much going on in the world, they need an alternative to a hugely switched on interactive world. And this is really important, particularly today. 42% of teens we speak to are concerned about their mental health today, which is a really big concern. And even at the younger end of the scale, just under 20% of 6 to 9-year-olds frequently feel anxious. So TV viewing can offer something really helpful for children who need to switch off and escape the day-to-day. Now, it goes without saying that this generation have never known a world where they could access unlimited information at the touch or a swipe of a button. And on average, globally, 49% of 3-year-olds own a tablet device, which is huge. And this is even higher in the UK at 64%. They have access at a very, very young age to every bit of information they could possibly want. But what is important is that they can personally choose the content they watch, the games they play, and as they get older, the information they read. So in essence, they can choose what they want when they want it. They are more in control than any other generation previous to the content they watch and the entertainment they choose. So just how do they spend their day? This chart here shows how a child's leisure time is broken out by age based on time spent doing activities. And we can see that although very full with activities, TV, which is the orange box, remains consistently strong across all age groups, taking up around 1/10 of their available leisure time each day. And it's great to see this activity being stable against shifting priorities as the child grows. In fact, the older children get, moving towards teenage, the more watching television becomes a top hobby of theirs. Being on the internet or social media, which is the red box at the top, increases as play, for example, subsides. But what we are also seeing, if we look at the purple box, which is playing video games or gaming, is how gaming beyond the age of 6 too is becoming a key part of a kid's day, almost mirroring that of TV. And when we compare the average minutes spent on devices for 6 to 9-year-olds in the UK, we can see that although TV remains strong and has demonstrated year-on-year growth, console usage is edging closer. And advancements in mobile devices mean that everyone has a device in their pocket capable of gaming to some degree. And cross-platform functionality has meant that phenomena such as Fortnite has allowed a kid with a tablet to get involved with the same experience as one with a high-end gaming PC. In fact, we simply can't ignore the widespread appeal of gaming across all ages, with just under 80% of kids over 6 gaming, a figure that's remained static year on year. Gaming in lockdown also proved more than just a competitive environment to play. It proved to be a main social engagement platform, with many kids finding it the best way to remain connected to their friends when face-to-face contact was limited. Today, there's real evidence that children don't distinguish between the real and digital worlds either. Children today are just as likely to watch a film or go to a concert in Fortnite as they are in real life. And even more likely in the midst of the pandemic, it's become the norm. There is more and more evidence that children are experiencing life through the metaverse. And this is important because it dictates how you converse with them and how you engage with them. Spend within gaming is also on the increase, whether that is using Robux to personalize your own virtual world or using microtransactions to further play. Today, a space that a child creates within a virtual world like Roblox is just as much about self-expression as the space they create at home in their own bedroom. What we've also seen as well is niche or community-based gaming platforms hit the mainstream. Some of the top 100 Google search words last year were for so-called niche gaming-related platforms like Twitch or Discord, being places that teens can come together and share passions, and as such, a place to develop deeply engaged fans. And what we can't ignore is that kids today want to co-create, build, and develop their own personalized experiences. And we are seeing brands like Minecraft and Roblox increase in popularity as creative social spaces. Also, the idea of what a gamer is has fundamentally shifted over the last decade. As the medium has become more mainstream, the traditional stereotype has fallen by the wayside. Kids' heroes, modern athletes, musicians are avid gamers, and they are aspirational heroes with huge fan bases. PewDiePie, for example, is in the top right that has an estimated 110 million subscribers on YouTube. And if we put that into context, Disney Plus, for example, has reported 103 million users. So PewDiePie has more subscribers than Disney Plus globally. And we're also seeing an increase in successful girl gamers as well, with their own style and their heavy social media presence influencing kids today. And brands are starting to take note of this too. So Tampax, for example, has entered into the esports arena with its own Tampax Fest. It's doing a really good job there to break down gender biases and recognising the growth in girl gamers as part of the kids' world. And parents are also embracing gaming as a family activity, ranking as the 4th favoured family activity for 6 to 16-year-olds in the UK. Gaming is being passed down as a hobby that parents enjoy to their children as something that the whole family can focus on. And we really expect there to be a new host of gaming connections that will engage the whole family come out in the next few years. Parents also appreciate the role gaming plays in education and learning, whether that is developing cognitive or team building skills. And more society has come to the realization that video games or gaming can in fact help mental health and happiness in a child. Our data shows that children who say that video gaming is their favorite hobby are less likely to feel frequently anxious, and they're just generally happier. And of course, advancements in technology will mean that the gaming world continues to evolve and grow. Technologies like AR and VR, although still quite small in terms of take-up, are showing growth. And this technology will play a huge role in deepening the engagement kids have within a gaming or a virtual world. So as you can see from this quick overview of the data, video gaming is playing a huge role in a child's world today. So how can TV compete? I would now like to introduce you to Stefan Lampinen. Stefan is truly a gaming expert. He has been creating and executing worldwide strategies for companies like EA, Microsoft and Warner Brothers, and is the co-founder of the Swedish Games Industry Association. So Stefan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to have you here, and it's really interesting to get your thoughts on gaming and TV. So Stefan, to start with, what can TV learn from a gaming world?
Well, I think they can learn from each other a lot, because I mean, TV is very much storytelling and great experience, good quality, and gaming is obviously more interactive, more scalable, etc. But so I would say there's a lot. But from a gaming, they work a lot, of course, with user engagement, community building, retention, meaning coming back and play again, and of course, influencer. At the same time, gaming can also be better in player safety, and learn from the TV industry on that thing. I mean, how responsible gaming and stuff like that. So I would say there is learning from both ends, but I think the gaming feels very innovative today, also because with all the platforms coming in, they have a little bit of an easier ride than the TV industry.
Yeah, true. And a lot of content can be scalable to a greater extent within the gaming world. Then it's a lot harder for TV to compete on that level, isn't it? But yeah.
And yeah, no, and I know that Netflix and Amazon, etc., they're looking now, how can they do more viewing experience interactive? So of course they're keeping it very close and see what they can develop. But also a bit of a buzzword, I've seen you probably have it in your report, which I've really enjoyed to read. It's the word metaverse, which is obviously a persistent world. We are many years from that now, but there are going to be some easy trials, and you have Epic, and also with the world of a metaverse, I think there is a huge opportunity for the TV industry, because I mean, they have great shows. I looked at DC Superheroes, for example, with Lego. I mean, the quality is amazing from the TV industry. So I really look forward to see more collaboration coming in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. We saw the two-way beneficial partnership between brands that do appear in things like Fortnite. So we know, for example, Travis Scott he had his live concert in Fortnite. His popularity soared amongst younger adults immediately after that event. So there is definitely a benefit to both the gaming world and brands that have a successful presence within the metaverse.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting example you brought up there, because if you look at Fortnite, there is no story. It's basically just jumping into a world. Or same with Roblox, it's no story. And then looking into children, I mean, Harry Potter and those, it's a fantastic storytelling. So you're coming into immediately playing something without narrative storytelling. And then you have the story from the children and TV, because I think UK is best in the world now for the future digital narrative storytelling. And I think it's going to be so interesting to see more collaboration between these two formats. And of course, they are already collaboration. I had a talk with Cyber recently. They have 550 million viewers combined between the TV shows and the gaming. And they're keeping a close eye if they should do more combined or if they keep it a little bit separate, of course, depending on technology and positioning and messaging, of course.
Yeah, of course. I suppose that leads us on to the next question, I suppose. So what are the most exciting things that you've seen happening within the gaming world that the media industry should be aware of? So we've seen growth in things like VR, AR. You know, what exciting things are happening in the gaming world that TV can benefit from or learn from?
I think it's moving so fast in the gaming industry. I think VR have a few more years to come. If we're talking about, again, coming back to the metaverse, a persistent world, or what's happening in Fortnite, I mean, it's a quite well-known quote now from Tim Shaney about asking about Fortnite, what is it? So I think it's more from the TV and media industry, keep an eye on what's happening in the gaming space, but also the other way around. I mean, if you look at Netflix, if you look at DreamWorks, if you look at what everybody, I mean, Lego, Disney, there's some, and of course, UK children brands. I mean, there is so lots of opportunities coming there. But I would say the most exciting is the impact from influencers, which has taken a bigger pie of the marketing pot. So one is the influencers. Another almost scary thing is that many young children today are looking into almost reality shows on YouTube, and YouTube is also becoming a very big platform. So I think from the media and TV industries to understand what are the big movements out there, what's happening with the influencers, what can you really do in the gaming, and what cross collaboration can you do within the IP. And then again, as I used to say, because I've been chairman in 2 trade organizations, also in the movie part, is the responsibility, the code of ethics, because we're talking about children all the time here. So it's always a balance. Free to play is not always ideal because you don't want them to buy too much additional content. Some really responsible children brands, they prefer to have a premium price so the parents know exactly what's happening. So there are many factors, but I would say keep an eye on the super fast thing happening in the interaction with the metaverse and Fortnite.
So what you're saying about the metaverse, Stefan, is really fascinating. What we're seeing in our data is that children no longer just want to passively consume. They want to be part of the storytelling. They want to co-create, and they want to sort of play an outcome in sort of the content that they're consuming. Is that something you've seen as well?
Yes, especially user-created content, because even if Roblox has propelled tremendously the last 2 years, they've been around for many years, and now they're coming more and more categories of user-created content, and I think that's amazing because you can more or less help your local community, you can give to charity, so that's interesting. And that also, of course, need a little bit of monitoring what's out there all the time, so that coming back to the safety is always an interesting thing. And also on the metaverse, I think it's important to say we are a few years from that because it has to be a mix of technologies. It's been a lot of walled garden also in the gaming industry between Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft. In the movie Hollywood, it's always been these windows when you have the movie release, then you have the TV or the iTunes, and you have had the Blu-ray DVD. So I think there is a lot of collaboration to be happening, and obviously you've been following the news between Epic and Apple, etc. So we are a few more years from combining technologies, combining communities, and they're going to be different currencies. But definitely we are on an interesting start. And lastly, I would say also when you look into school and edutainment, which is coming more and more, of course, also because of the pandemic where you have homeschooling and more technology in homeschooling. Looking into edutainment today, the best companies are looking for the best art designer, UX, and a bit user creative content also in edutainment. So I think it's going to be tremendously interesting to follow the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the edutainment has been accelerated again, obviously, by the situation. We've had lockdown and children away from school. And it's really interesting as well. We see in our data that children are also, have a real desire to be part of a gaming world. So they're learning to code independently before they might be doing that within schools. They have a desire to be a games designer or be sort of work within IT. And we've also seen those sort of career aspirations increase the more they are involved within sort of the gaming world. Yeah. So yeah, edutainment is a really interesting.
And I would also like to say, since this is a British show, I've been living in Germany and also in Sweden, of course. I think what I like with UK is how you collaborate between the creative industry and the gaming industry. I think you're in the pole position there also with TV shows and again children TV shows, etc. And I think you should take that on board as well, that UK is really well positioned in blending this, because it has to be more categories collaborating because of the advanced technologies coming in.
Yeah, very fascinating. So we have seen just this week, that Tribeca Enterprises and Epic Games will make the Unreal Engine software available free to filmmakers in New York. And for those who don't know, the software is used to create games like Fortnite and can be really helpful with special visual effects within sort of the film and TV world. Can TV and gaming work more closely together in that way to create content and entertainment for kids and family?
Yes, I mean, definitely. I think it's very exciting what's happening in that space, because if you look at Fortnite, 350 million people, Roblox, 200 million, it's huge audience. And then of course you take the success of Harry Potter or other domestic huge brands. But I mean, there are big movements there. You have TikTok, as you know, I mean, the number of users they have. So this huge audience can, I think it's important to, how are the more traditional brands gonna play here? If you're looking at, as I mentioned before, like Lego, Disney, but also like big brands like BBC, for example. I mean, how are they gonna collaborate in the children's world, and how do you define children now? Because I mean, it's going down. I've seen also a report about younger kids in UK, the percentage of iPad use, for example. So I think we probably have to subcategorize the word of children even more soon.
True, and I think it's interesting how you bring up Lego there, as in our data it regularly appears as one of their favourite toys, and it has a really strong presence within the gaming world. You know, that it's proved a really good collaboration between sort of traditional content and then sort of using a brand and an IP to sort of break its way into sort of the gaming world as well, with Lego Harry Potter game, for example, or
yeah.
It's my daughter's a real big fan of. So do you think there'll be more collaborations like that, Stefan?
Yeah, but in a clever way. I think Lego done a tremendous job, because it's about keeping an eye on the creative process, which you see also again successful in UK. But for example, Nintendo has been quite careful about what they do with Nintendo and Super Mario in TV and film, because they want to control the creative process. Pokemon is another example where you have a fantastic brand and not go too fast out there. So I think there already are good collaboration. I think overall, I would say Hollywood could probably learn a little bit more from the gaming industry if you're looking what's happening in the last couple of years. I'm saying humbly, but yes, definitely more to come.
Great. Well, I think that's it, Stefan. I want to thank you so much for your time today. It's been really, really interesting to chat as always. So thank you very much for your time.
Likewise, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stefan. So just want to summarise what we have learned today. So what can TV do to stand out in an increasingly virtual world? Firstly, embrace the metaverse. This is still a while off being fully realised, as Stefan talked about earlier, but the appeal of this constantly switched on, live and persistent world can't be ignored, and understanding how content or IP can play an authentic role in this environment is really important. There are opportunities for licensing, for content marketing that are all there ready to be explored. Gaming heroes and influencers in this world offer really good opportunities to base content around too. They're well recognised heroes for kids today, and they've got an established and growing fan base for many. And also explore girl gamers. Who are the next girl gamers who can continue to break down those traditional stereotypes further? We've talked today about how kids want to play a role in creating and collaborating with the content they engage with. Netflix has experimented with this interactivity with a number of their programs, but what else can be done authentically in this space? Technology and the fast advancements of things like VR and AR can open up opportunities for content, and TV and gaming can come together naturally to really complement each other in the world of edutainment, as we talked about earlier with Stefan, a growth area that we fully expect to sort of trend further in the next few years. So thank you so much for listening today. If you want to know more, you can download our free reports, which go into much more depth about some of the topics we talked about today. I can recommend Future Forecasts and our Trends Across the Planet report, which will do this for you. And you can access those reports via the link you see on screen today.